This is episode 211 and we're talking about learning new things. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Abigail and I do these daily videos so that women can become more conscious and intentional about their own confidence, because confidence is that character trait that is going to make the difference between being successful and fulfilled and not. So if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure that you do and hit that notifications button so that you can get your daily boost in confidence. This is episode number 211. Let's take a look at what the thought of the day is. It's never too late to learn something new. Having that all-important growth mindset, I believe, is one of those magic ingredients to being successful. The opposite of that is somebody who goes into any situation thinking to themselves, I've heard this all before, I know this is nothing new. The real skill is to go into any situation with that open mindset of, let me discover what else I can learn. Let me learn something new. Let me approach this as if this is the first time I am hearing this. I can recognize in myself how in the past, having started this personal development journey, I obviously began reading a lot of books. And then I began to notice some patterns that many of these personal development, self-help, business type books, they were all saying the same thing. They were all giving the same kind of advice. Yes, in a different kind of way and with a different, angle and a different little flavor, but they were all essentially teaching the same principles. And I recognized in my own mind that I was beginning to think, well, I've learned this all before, there's no point me carrying on reading because I know this stuff. And that's exactly the trap that we push ourselves into when we take that attitude of, I've heard this all before, I know this. Because when we have that approach, when we decide to have that particular train of thought, we instantly shut down our brain and our subconscious mind to being open to any new ideas or inspiration. Yes, you might have heard that before, the concept might not be new to you, but the power lies in the way that different people explain it. And I have, again, experienced this myself, where having pushed through and kept my mind open and receptive to relearning this concept or this approach, these principles, and in that process, in being in that open state, the way in which this other person described this thing that I was learning or learning about again, I had an aha moment. I had an epiphany because they explained it in a certain way, which then somehow connected some dots in my head in a different way to perhaps the first time I had learned about it. And remember as well is that we as humans, the way that we learn is through repetition. So it is never time wasted or effort wasted when you are reapproaching a concept or an idea or principles, whatever it is that you're learning. If it is not the first time you are ingesting that, don't write it off, because it is through the repetition that we really do learn it and integrate it, and then it becomes part of who you are. So repetition, repetition, repetition. We always want to be repeating the good stuff. We want to be repeating that information because that is how our brains are wired to learn. In my own journey, I can honestly say that I have never studied so much as I have in the last 5 years. And that's after going to school for 12 years and then an extra 3 years at university, plus some correspondence courses here and there. In the last 5 years, I personally have never studied so much. And had you asked me this when I was in high school or at university, whether I would ever pick up a book again and study, I would have said absolutely no, because studying and learning is what you do when you're a kid, when you are a teenager or your early 20s. Now as I approach 40, I have never studied so much, and this for me is a revelation that it is never too late to learn. And again, I'm reminded of my recent visit to the UK, where the whole intention of going to the UK was to spend time with my 94-year-old grandmother. And I went over there with a very clear intention to get her set up with an iPad so that we can FaceTime while we are back here in South Africa and she's there in the UK, because it's lovely to connect over video. And at 94, she was open to that new experience. And yes, there have been some challenges, you know, you don't get it the first time. And we're still working through some technology challenges that she's being faced with, because it's her first time ever working an iPad and it's her first time ever working with the FaceTime app. So naturally, there's going to be some hurdles to overcome. But what we want to do is keep her doing it again and again and again so that it becomes second nature. Again, that's where the repetition comes in. And so at 94, if my gran can get onto an iPad and call us using FaceTime, that right there is proof that it's never too late to learn. So open up your mind, open up your attitude, open up yourself to continually learning and improving. And we are complex creatures, especially if you are venturing down this personal development journey, which I'm assuming you are because you're watching this video. Then recognize that we are complex and there is so much to learn about ourselves. If you are able to consume all content in the world about all subjects, I do believe that you will never stop learning about yourself. There are infinite things to learn. And the day we stop learning about ourselves is the day that we no longer need to be on this planet. So always be open to learning more about who you are through the work of other people, through your experiences. That's the way you're going to grow your growth mindset. You will receive so much information and you will learn so much about yourself, not least grow your confidence. So that's my thought for today. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And today, right now, the 30th of July is your last chance to win a ticket to my confidence workshop, which happens on the 4th of August. Share this video on Facebook using the hashtag Confidence Workshop Competition. And tomorrow, the 31st of July, I'm doing a Facebook Live at 11 o'clock South African time, where I'm going to, first of all, talk to you about vision boards and my experience of using vision boards and the amazing synchronicities that I personally experienced. And then I'm going to do the live draw for that competition. So I might be calling out your name. Make sure that you're watching, tuned in to my Facebook page. And otherwise, if you want to make sure that you do get your spot for this workshop, sign up at the registration link down below and I will see you on Saturday. Otherwise, go forth into the rest of the day confidently and consciously. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notifications button, share it with a friend, and be awesome.